we thought there might be a good time to do like a game review segment over on the on this show of when we've all played a game, and then we spend a segment just reviewing that game and having a chat about it. We all have fucking video game channels. It makes a lot of sense. And today we're going to talk, probably not a full game review, but we're going to talk a bit about our impressions of a game that the four of us have played by Lilimo Games, the game Habroxia 2. Mm-hmm. So friend of the Four Pillars, Colin Moriarty, gave the four of us codes to Habroxia 2, so the four of us have all given it a crack and put a couple of hours in, and I would say I wish I could say we finished it, but the game's insanely difficult.
How many levels?
And I can't get past level 3. I just can't seem to beat level 3.
Oh, I got to level 4. I feel elite.
Yeah.
But no, then there was just a massive drill that kept fucking me up, and honestly,
it's a hard one. It's the Dark Souls of Habroxia, for real.
Dark Souls of Habroxia. There's two of them.
It's a nice game. I think the first thing that struck me about it is really pleasant and quite refreshing was when you fire it up. One of the first things that it says to you is, you work hard for your money and your time is precious. Thanks for buying and playing our game. Which, I mean, for the first part buying part doesn't necessarily apply when we got codes, but it's still refreshing to read. You know what I mean? It's still very refreshing to read that message, and so from there I was like, yep, this is just a game that I'm going to fire up and have fun with,
and it is a fun game.
It is fun.
It
is very fun.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't mess about. It doesn't mess you about as a consumer either. It's a proper solid. I guess it's like an arcade style game, if that's the way to put it. And I like how it sort of structures itself, in the sense that you're not necessarily going to get through the level first try, but as you go, you can get credits or whatever it's called and upgrade your ship, and it becomes easier and easier. And as you learn the level better as well, you start to know what to expect, and as a result of that, you just zoom about, and it can be quite impressive actually for a retro styled game. It's incredibly impressive actually. I really enjoyed. I have a good time with it, and I'm sure I'll play it more.
George, do you want to talk a bit about your timer that I'm interested to hear, but a bit about the background of the game? Do you know much of the background of this game?
To be honest, not really. I sort of booted it up and I watched the first, the initial cutscene and stuff like that. I don't know much about the game. I didn't play the first one, but I do know that as soon as I booted it up, I fell in love with the art style straight away. I really like the soundtrack, and it made me actually want to play the first one. So I reckon at some point I'm going to buy the first one and play both of them, because I used to play games like this on my parents' old phones when I was a kid. There's games exactly like Habroxia, where you're playing as a ship and there's enemies and you have to dodge them and stuff like that. I love these types of games, and I love the upgrading system. It's no bullshit. It's not like, oh, these skills are useless. You got a skill tree. You got to level up. It's like you just go and you buy stuff. Everything in the upgrading system helps you. It's just a classic game. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth the money. It doesn't fuck you around. It gets you straight into it. You only have a tutorial, and then you're thrown straight into the game, and it's very simple. There's only 2 menus in the entire thing as well. It's just a really simple experience. I think sometimes you need that, compared to these huge blockbuster story titles.
It's a great breakup of that, hey?
Yeah, it is great. Yeah. And you can just sit there and chill, and if you don't want to listen to the game, you can put on a podcast like the Four Pillars podcast or Streamcast or the As Always podcast. And it's a really good time. I really enjoyed my time with it. Great art style. Great fun.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's, last year, was it last year? I don't remember. We played Twin Breaker, which was the other game that Colin worked on, and that was really good fun. You can see it's similar as in style and stuff, and that's really nice. And sort of the way they approach how they interact with the player,
and tell the stories as well.
Yeah, and tell the stories and stuff. And I really really like this. I mean, Twin Breaker was so fucking fun. I remember going through and playing the whole thing. I think I streamed it. It was like an As Always exclusive stream I did or something, where I went through and played the whole thing. And I'm sure I'll play through the whole of this as well. But it's a similar where it's super challenging. It's got really charming art style and everything, and the soundtrack is brilliant. It's just a really good, engaging, fun game, and I'd recommend it. If you need a game to play, something you might want to platinum, while you're listening to a podcast or something quick and easy, not like an Assassin's Creed or something, something big and fat. You want something small and lean. This is that. So yeah, give it a look over, and see if you want to pick it up. But I'd recommend it anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
From my tastes,
Yeah, no,
but,
same. Definite recommend, because it's just refreshing above all else. Very satisfying, very fun, rewarding in simplistic ways. When you manage to beat that boss at the end of a level, knowing that if you fail, you'll be sent back to the beginning of the level, or you'll have to go and upgrade and grind away. But it's not necessarily a nasty grind. It's you feel like it's to the point and helpful. And
yeah, you get better every
You also
time.
learn the level as you go, and you need to do both. So it just doubles up as both, and it's really quite neat, and I had a good time with it. Granted, it did eat into me recording footage for another game I'm planning to do some form of video on, which is the Hitman trilogy, the recent Hitman trilogy. But that can wait. Fuck it. This Habroxia thing, it's the new craze, isn't it?
And it's as you were saying, Ethan, like you almost chip away at the levels, because you've got to look at it in the mindset of you're not, oh yeah, let's go to level 2, and then you're just like, oh, I'll just smash through the level however long it takes. That's how long it'll take me to do it. No, you've got to look at it like, I'm gonna fail this 20 times. But what you need to focus on is like, okay, what can I get out of this run of this level, and then chip away at the level of learning it, and because it's almost like mastering a speed run. You've got to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until you get so good at it that you're gonna just be able to beat it by the end and know where everything is, and be at a high enough level of whatever you would choose to upgrade, whether it's like your shot power, your speed, or anything like that. So it's a really well structured game. As James was saying, Twin Breaker was a really well designed game, and this is obviously a different sort of genre of retro game, but really well designed as well from what I've played so far. As I said, it's Lily Mo Games who developed it, who our friend Colin Moriarty's the writer for and the producer of Habroxia 2, and he owns a big portion of Lily Mo Games now, I believe. He also is a part of runs his own business in Last Stand Media. He has a great Patreon, a bunch of great podcasts that he does, including Sacred Symbols with Chris Raygun, Knockback, all that sort of stuff. So Colin's, great guy, and happy to love being able to support him and talk about his games and stuff. And if you want to hear a bit more about Habroxia 2, next week on the As Always podcast, we are interviewing and talking to Colin Moriarty.
Hey, he's coming back.
I've never had any interactions with Colin Moriarty at all. Like, I don't know the guy, but from what you say, he sounds like a sound geezer. And so if he is listening to this on the off chance, how you doing?
I'll send him the clip and to Lily Mo
Nice.
Games as well.
Nice,
So if they want
lovely.
to if they want to put it out anywhere on social media with us just having a chat about it,
That's cool.
I think for sure. Happy to share that.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
So it's
support
highly recommend the game. It's a great game. It is a fun game, and I do like to break up the triple A's with these fun games. Like even back at not a Lily Mo game at all, but like a game like Celeste. Those sort of
Celeste
old
was
Celeste is one of the best games I've ever played in my life.
Celeste is the kind of game that pissed me the fuck off, and then I just sort of started loving it.
Never played it.
Man. I never finished it, but I've got to wait until Tyler's here again.
Yeah,
Celeste is the type of game that just
We'll finally finish the last level, and the DLC. We've got to do the DLC too.
I've never done the DLC.
There's
I
DLC
was
for
gonna wait.
Celeste?
I was gonna wait.
That'll be good.
I'll have to.
They added some mega extra level at the end. It's fucking wild. So I'm very excited. Celeste's amazing. But I love playing those just smaller, shorter, different types of games that give you stories on a different level and make your brain think like, oh, this is what games were made for when video games first started.
Yeah.
They're made to just be challenges. Like that's what it was about.
They were made to be
cool
difficult.
Music, and make you think differently. Whereas games now are like combining genres and meeting what a TV show, how TV shows do stories and how movies do stories, and do it in a similar way but expanded, and you can
more often
be the characters.
And more often than not, getting contrived and convoluted in itself.
Death
no, it's
Stranding.
very, and while there is definitely room for that, it's very refreshing to see a game that knows what it is, sticks to what it is, and is happy to just be that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just feels really fun in the process. So yeah, it's almost like a game from the past, but still fun. You know those games that are just timeless. Those games that you'll never grow tired of because they're just brilliant.
Galaga.
Four Pillars love Habroxia too.
I guess it's one of those.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of those,
like
at least in the style of one of those, and I think it does that very well. So I definitely will be playing more of it. That's for sure.
Similar.
I'm not
similar
done.
To like
it will not beat me.
Yeah, no, hopefully not. When you got like Sonic Mania that came out was like this modern game that played just like old school Sonic, like the first Sonic the Hedgehog. It's so similar to that, where you're like, this feels like a game that came out a long time ago, but it came out now, and it's still endlessly fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's nice to have those. It's just good, honest fun. So
For sure.
That's what gaming is.
That's what gaming is. Yeah, exactly. If you're into the gaming, then you'll be into this.
It's available on PS Vita, PS4/PS5, and Xbox and Nintendo Switch, I believe, as well. So available everywhere. Go check it out. And I mean, they're not paying us to advertise this, talk about this. Like Colin just wanted to send us, message me and sent us codes when I asked for 4, so we all got them. And I thought, let's talk about it. Like, Colin's a friend, and he makes great content and writes great games. So I'm happy to chat about it. Look forward to talking to him about it next week.
It's our job, Maybe next time we'll review a game that's bad.
Yeah, maybe
Well, we did that. We did a bad game last week and then a good game this week. So we're evening it out.
He's fucking done it, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Honestly, Tyler,
he's
shut the
Listen
fuck
here,
up.
Tyler. Shut up.
I think I speak on behalf of all the commenters when I say that was satisfying.
Oh, classic.